Hi everybody and welcome to Marketing Clinic number 8, and today we're going to talk about a value proposition and why you need one. So normally I'd be joined by our marketing manager Georgie and Abby, but I'm going it alone today. We're going to have a look at what a value proposition is and why you need to have one for your product or for your project. How you can start developing your value proposition, and we'll look at how you will also benefit from having one. We'll explore how your customer will benefit from your value proposition, and we'll also give you some ideas for contents and events and activities that align with your business objectives. So let's have a look at why I love a value proposition. Today, when everybody's looking for something that makes them stand out from the crowd, having a customer-focused value proposition can really be your differentiator. So if you're providing products and services that are meeting the needs of your customers, then that could be your secret weapon in the marketplace. A value proposition also helps you to create products and services that customers actually want, rather than what somebody who doesn't live in the area, isn't the target market, tells you that that's what they think that they want. It can also help you leverage the experience and skills of your team. And this is a really big plus. It reduces the need for unproductive meetings. So imagine that your team has worked on your value proposition and you're all on the same page and it's all documented. It means that you don't have to stop and start and say, what about this? And, you know, someone can't just jump over the top and say, we need to add this sort of thing in. It also reduces the risk of team misalignment. So if you've done it together, you've all agreed it together, what the value proposition is, then you can just get on with the business of satisfying your customers. And my favourite, it reduces the risk of a bright, shiny marketing effort that's expensive and doesn't deliver results. So if you're one of those people that worries that your team focuses too much on products and features instead of creating value for customers, then having a value proposition in place will really, really help you. And if you're amazed by how much money and time that you've wasted on the last great idea, and only for it to not work as well as you thought it would because it wasn't really what your customer wanted and also it hadn't been tested, then another tip for having a value proposition. And if you're surprised at how often you try and sell something and nobody really wants it, despite the best creative, the best intentions, etc., then having a value proposition will help you solve those problems. And I'll put in some reasons why your customers will really love it. Well, firstly, because you'll be seeing and presenting things from their perspective. Isn't that amazing that we would actually do products and have experiences that come from the customer's perspective? You'll demonstrate that you're really listening to them and helping to solve their problems and alleviate their pain points. And finally, you'll be saving them time because you'll answer all their questions, you'll solve their problems, you'll alleviate their pain points, and they can just get on with the business of living a great life. So what is a value proposition? Well, it describes the benefits customers can expect from your products and services. And there's two sides to a value proposition. So on one side, you have the customer profile. So it's a set of customer characteristics that you assume, observe, and verify in the market. And it really helps you clarify your understanding of your customer. On the other side, which is the left side of the slide, is creating value. So it's the set of value proposition benefits that you will design to attract customers. And that really helps you describe how you are going to create that value and what you determine will be of value to your customers. And to achieve the fit is when the two meet each other. You need to create a different value proposition for each dominant market segment. So if you have market segments such as first home buyers as well as downsizers, for example, they have completely different needs, and so their value propositions will be different. And I like to use an example of the project customer life cycle for where a value proposition really helps. If you're creating a value proposition before you've developed your marketing strategy, so after you've done your visioning, before you've developed your marketing strategy, it will really help determine what's got to go in that marketing and sales strategy. So I'll give you an example. If it's a project team, let's say working on a master plan community, if you've determined that one of your value propositions is going to be the customer experience and how they, when they come to your project, that it looks really good and the sales office is laid out perfectly for them and there's lots of information for them and all that sort of thing. So the physical customer experience is going to be part of your value proposition. That also influences your development team, because it'll be up to the development team to make sure the landscaping is of the standard that is expected, that they're delivering stages on time, that the project is neat and tidy. It'll be up to the marketers to be able to create that amazing on-site experience. And also the sales team have to match that level with the level of service that they provide. So that's why it's really important to do it before you've developed your marketing strategy. It can also then, in your marketing strategy, then determine, okay, we need to educate our customers, therefore we need to have a lot of educational content on our website, in our sales office, available on social, things like that. Then that needs to be factored into your marketing strategy. And what usually happens is that that's not determined until you've opened up the doors, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling for all this information and you've run out of money. So it's really a really great way to determine really what should be in your marketing budget and really what's probably a nice to have. So let's take a deep dive into the value proposition. And as we explained, there are two sides to it. On the right-hand side, we've got the customer side, where you're going to observe the customers and look at their characteristics that you observe or you assume or you might have verified through research. On the left-hand side is where you can determine the benefits that you will design to attract the customers. And each side is broken into three segments. So from the customer side, we look at their jobs, the things that they need to get done, the pains and the gains. What do they really want to end up with at the end of their purchase? On your side, which is determining what value you're going to create, you have a look at the products and services that you currently offer or that you could offer. You look at those things that are going to relieve the pains that you've determined over on the customer side, and also how you're going to deliver on the gains that the customer is looking for. So let's take a look at each one individually. So from a customer jobs perspective, that describes the things your customers are trying to get done in their work or in their life. They could be tasks that they're trying to perform or complete, and problems that they're trying to solve, or needs they're trying to satisfy. So think of it like this. What's the one thing that your customer segment couldn't live without accomplishing? Or what are the stepping stones that could help your customer achieve this key job, which in our world is purchasing a property? And what tasks are your customers trying to perform in their personal life as well? And what are the problems that you think that your customers have that they might not even be aware of? So that's where you can just delve a little deeper and determine all the jobs that you think the customers need to get done. Then you take a look at their pains. So anything that annoys them before, during and after trying to get the job done, which is purchase a home, or anything that just prevents them from getting the job done. So pains also describe risks or potential bad outcomes related to getting a job done badly or not at all. So I can think of something, a pain might be, for a first home buyer, a pain might be having mortgage stress. For someone who's going into a retirement village, a pain might be that they really don't like living in a closed community. So think about, from this perspective, what are your customers' frustrations, or what things give them a headache, or what keeps them up at night? Or things like, what do your customers actually define as too costly, or it takes too much time, or it's too much money, or too much effort? So those are the things that you can put down in the pains section. Let's take a look at gains, and they're the outcomes and benefits your customer really wants. So some gains are really required, some are expected, and some are desired, and some really would surprise them. Gains include social gains, or positive emotions, or cost savings. And think about it from this perspective. What quality levels do they expect, and would they wish for more of or less of? Or which savings could make your customer happy? Or what savings in terms of time, or what savings in terms of money or effort would they value? And I just think about the situation now in terms of time savings. Well, I don't have to, go to the sales office 14 times. I can do this all over Zoom, and I should be able to probably sign the whole contract, pay my deposit, sign the contract without having to make multiple visits. So that would be, for me, that would be a really big gain. Let's take a look on the other side. So from the products and services side, this is a list of what you offer. And it could be what you offer now and what you could potentially, or you've been thinking about offering in the future. So these are the products and services that helps your customer complete either their functional, their social, or their emotional requirements that we identified in the customer section. And it could be physical or tangible, that's such as an apartment or a house or a retirement unit or a block of land. It could be something that's intangible, such as a 30-year construction warranty or after-sales service. It might be something digital. So think about things like having a customer portal, or somewhere that you could do an online customer, have an online customer manual, or lots of educational content. Or it could be financial. So it might be products such as deposit assistance, or helping them with the first home buyer grant, or services like the financing of a purchase. The second area that you want to have a look at from your own value proposition side is pain relievers. And these describe how exactly your products and services alleviate the specific customer pains. So remember that we talked about on the round the circle of the model, what your customers' pains are. So take a look at those and think about how you can relieve those pains. And these pain relievers really need to be explicit about how they're going to either eliminate or reduce some of the things that annoy your customers. And that's before, during and after they're trying to get this purchase done, or something that prevents them from doing it. So think about, could your products and services produce savings? for example? Or could they make your customers feel better by killing frustrations and other things that give them a headache? Could you have something that makes them feel better? Could they fix an underperforming solution? Like, could you introduce new features or a better performance or a quicker turnaround or enhanced quality or a better specification? And could what you are offering put an end to challenges that your customers consistently encounter by making things easier and eliminating obstacles? Just think about something within your business that you just know that everybody has to do, and they have to do it because we've always done it this way. When you're doing your value proposition, this is a really good time to just go, well, we've always done it this way, but it's causing our people a pain. Let's see if we can relieve it. The final part of your side of the value proposition is called a gain creator, and they will describe how your products and services create customer gains. So it could be that you could create savings that please your customer in terms of time or money or effort, or you could make your customers' lives easier, better accessibility, more services. You could make some positive social consequences as well by making them look good or increasing their status. And that's particularly important in the property industry. So if you really want people to be giving you referrals after they've moved in, you need to make sure that your estate looks great and that you've got beautiful front gardens and things like that. So when their friends come over and go, oh, wow, this looks amazing, I wish I could live here, they're not seeing rubbish dumped on blocks, or they're not seeing signs that have fallen down or dead landscaping. So that's where the whole team comes into it. If you think that getting referrals or getting people to purchase in your project or purchase your display home or one of your homes is just up to the salesperson or just up to the marketer, you are so far away from where you need to be. It is a whole team effort, and it's really discipline around what experience you want your customer to have. The final step in the value proposition is checking the fit. And I won't go too much into this module, but it can then help you determine your overarching value proposition for your product or your service. So here's an example. Our First Home Buyer Hub helps first home buyers who want to save for, educate themselves about, and decide upon the right housing solution for their circumstances. So this implies then that you are creating a one-stop shop for first home buyers that talks their language, that's got lots of educational information, it's got a lot of videos and infographics and different ways that a first home buyer would consume information. And it also has housing solutions and helps them to determine what the best solution is for them. Another example is our knowledge helps move up buyers who want to move to a new home by connecting them with experts, providing research insights and product solutions. So an example of that is that if you've got a large segment that are move up buyers, you might want to really converse with them about a lot of knowledgeable things like what's happening in the market, what their resale value might be, what experts such as interior designers or landscape architects or landscape gardeners, giving them some product solutions. So there's no point in sending out an EDM to a move-up buyer who is looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-story, 3-bathroom home and sending them a 3-bed, 1-bathroom starter home. So this is where your value proposition can really help you hone in what is valuable to your market segment. So when we talked about some ideas for content, events and activities, I'm really just going to give you a starting point for how you could look at this value proposition and how you could get started with your team. So we offer a detailed workshop where we take you, all your project team, through this, and we help you refine what your value proposition and your fit is for each of your market segments. But if you wanted to get started and get some ideas for content or events and activities, here's a really easy way to do it. So you'll need butcher paper, post-it notes, and everybody needs a pen. So firstly, you start off by determining what your market segment is. So let's, for the sake of this, we'll say the market segment is first home buyers. Everybody has some post-it notes, and there's one idea per post-it note. So you take a pen, and then everybody gets to think about the jobs that first home buyers need to do in order to get into their first home, and get everybody to write down one idea per post-it note. Then you will find that there's a lot in common. So you put them on the butcher paper and group them into the same ideas. Then move on to the next one. Brainstorm the pains and the gains. Then do the other side, the products and services, the pain relievers, and the gain creators. And if you do that, you'll just find that even if you're just after some ideas about content or ideas about a webinar that you could do for people, or a virtual meetup or something like that, this is a really quick way for you to get some really good ideas that if you're the marketer, you might not have thought of, because maybe there's somebody in your finance team or in the development team or a sales consultant who's had this idea for a while. It's a really good way to get some ideas and get some agreement from the team and get everybody on the same page. So I want to finish off today by saying the best businesses have the customer at the centre of their thinking. So if you're only focused on profit and RRR and number of sales, then you're missing out on firstly leaving a legacy, and secondly, I think you're missing out on the potential for referrals, which we all know are a very cheap form of sales. And I think you're also missing out on what your customer actually deserves. I sometimes think that we, because we are rewarded, and we might have a bonus that's based on delivering profit rather than on customer feedback, that we actually forget that if we don't give a great customer experience, it really reflects on yourself, because sometimes you can get if you don't get your coffee at your takeaway place within 15 minutes, I can bet that you're huffing and hurrying and tapping your foot. But if your stage is delivered a month, 2 months late, you're sort of like, oh, well, it's in the contract. Yes, they should just be happy that they're getting this land. I think we really need to change our way of thinking and make sure that the customer is at the centre of it. I think also now is a really good time to work with your team. So whether you're working remotely or you're slowly coming back into the office and working together, if you are looking for some ideas about how you can rejuvenate your database or do something a little bit different, working through your value proposition could just be that little pick-me-up that you and your team need. Use your next catch-up to workshop some ideas. So just like we talked about before in the using post-it notes, going through each phase of the value proposition. use your next catch up, workshop some ideas, let everyone have a post-it note. You'll come up with some great ideas. And if you're a marketer and you're struggling with content ideas, it'll be perfect for you. So this is the final marketing clinic in our first series. We've created a web page, which is bit.ly/PRMC webs, which is bit.ly Property Republic Marketing Clinic webinars. And you can access all of our marketing clinics from the last 8 weeks there. We'll be coming back with series 2, which will be a all new customer experience. It'll be quite visually appealing, and we hope that you can join us then. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have a great